Good morning, everyone. It's April 14th, 2019. I'm Eric. I'm here at DC Clothesline, although the articles, one of them anyway, comes from Natural News. One of them, a perfect storm of events, is now building towards a cascading collapse of mammoth U.S. dams that will displace millions and destroy entire towns. And 30 inches of snow in April. Extreme Midwest flooding could extend into July. Let's see where that one's coming from here. Michael Schneider. Okay. Dams do their jobs every day with very little problems. But when one breaks, the results can be devastating. Entire towns can be completely washed away, and millions of people lose everything they own and are displaced. If you think it sounds like something out of a movie, it is a reality for people who live near these dams. In fact, NOAA has forecast that 2/3 of the 48 contiguous states will be facing a heightened flood risk until May. They predict that there could be unprecedented levels of flooding throughout the nation that will put 200 million people in danger. And keep in mind that our population is somewhere around 360 million. So that's a significant number of our population there. Some of the areas identified as being at the greatest risks include communities near the Mississippi River, where rain and snow levels have been as much as 200% above normal, along with the Great Lakes, the Ohio River Basin, and the Tennessee River Basin. NOAA National Water Center Director Ed Clark commented, in quotes, "The extensive flooding we've seen in the past 2 weeks will continue through May and become more dire, and may be exacerbated in the coming weeks as the water flows downstream." End quote. A combination of rapid snowmelt and heavy rainfall inundating the Midwest and plains is fueling the floods, with torrents of rainfall failing to penetrate frozen ground, forcing water to swell rivers and break their banks. As the spring rains continue and snow melts, the flood threat will only be worsened. Flooding has already caused around $1.5 billion of damage in Nebraska alone, leaving 4 people dead and 1 missing, as it has damaged hundreds of Midwestern homes so far, and is also being blamed for a handful of deaths in Nebraska and Idaho. Flooding has caused trains to be stopped in Missouri, preventing people and goods from reaching their destinations. And it's also affecting agriculture significantly, threatening grain stockpiles, killing livestock, as tens of thousands of acres get absolutely inundated. I think they like that word a lot. Coastal areas are also being hit by floods, with NOAA predicting that both the east and west coasts of the nation will experience a greater chance than normal of spring flooding due to higher tides. Our nation's dams are not ready to handle all this flooding. Unfortunately, many of America's dams just aren't up to the task of handling epic rainfall. Look at what happened with the Oroville Dam in California, which nearly blew out after damage from record-setting rains threatened to propel a 30-foot wall of water toward Sacramento and everything in its path. The state ultimately had to evacuate 188,000 people in 3 counties. Meanwhile, the Fort Peck Dam in Montana is also causing concern, as the upcoming snowmelt is coinciding with the Yellowstone's caldera's seismic activity. And speaking of that, that is continuing to gain in momentum, the seismic activity there. In their report card for America's infrastructure, the American Society of Civil Engineers said that 15,500 American dams have high hazard potential, which means that if they fail, it could lead to a catastrophic loss of life. A further 11,882 dams have a significant hazard potential, which means failure might not necessarily cause massive deaths, but could cause significant financial losses. They think it's pretty, and it is pretty scary if you're living near one of these dams. I mean, one day you could be sitting at your kitchen table eating breakfast after days and days of rainfall, and your local dam there starts to give way, leaving you with just minutes, and if you're lucky, a little more time to get the fuck out of there. It's not very much time. So, if you live in one of these areas, it may be a good idea to have a boat or something you can float on. I don't know if you'd make it even then, but it's worth a try. But they go on to say it's pretty scary to think of how easily a dam could break and how quickly that could wreak massive amounts of havoc and destruction. What happens when this kind of flooding hits a nuclear reactor? And aging infrastructure and unprecedented rain means we could be hit by a disaster of epic proportions. And we can be. In fact, I think it's probable that we will be. And this, on top of that, 30 inches of snow in April. Midwest flooding could extend into July, exacerbating the previous problem. And this is Michael Schneider here. The other one was Natural News. We were supposed to have a major blizzard in April, less than a month after a bomb cyclone caused apocalyptic flooding in the central part of the country. Another bomb cyclone is hitting the exact same area. One meteorologist has called it a life-threatening storm. And at this moment, over 4 million people are under blizzard warnings. South Dakota, Minnesota, Nebraska, and Kansas are going to get absolutely hammered before the storm finally moves east on Friday. The authorities are warning that this new bomb cyclone will cause additional flooding in the region, but at this point we do not know how bad the flooding will be. The good news is that the ground has been softened up by warmer weather since the last bomb cyclone, and that should mean that more of the moisture is absorbed before it flows into major rivers. The bad news is that we're being told that this storm could break records. The following comes from the Daily Mail. A historic blizzard that could break records for April has hit the Great Plains and upper Midwest. Parts of 6 states were under blizzard warnings on Wednesday in an area that included Denver, Cheyenne, Wyoming, Scottsbluff, Nebraska, and Pierre, South Dakota. Early on Wednesday morning, Early on Wednesday morning, thunder snow was reported in Pierre and surrounding parts of South Dakota, as well as southern Minnesota. When meteorologists call this a blizzard, they aren't exaggerating one bit. So this latest round of snowfalls could very likely exacerbate the problem with the dams from the previous article. The plains could get more than 2 feet of snow by Friday morning, and South Dakota could be the hardest hit with more than 30 inches possible. High winds are making travel even more treacherous. So, anyway, I thought I would share this with you because I don't know how many people out there live that view my videos anyway, live near dams, but you should probably be warned and have some kind of plan in place for the eventual collapse of one of these dams. As you know, our infrastructure in America has been greatly neglected, and only bad things can come from such neglect. And somebody is going to pay the price. Somebody. And it probably isn't going to be the people who neglected the infrastructure in the first place. Right? Anyway, thought I'd share this with you. Hope everyone has a great, great Saturday. Mine is cloudy and rainy and dreary. Before I let you go, though, please do give me a thumbs up if you agree with my vids, and maybe a share. Spare change can be given at my PayPal link as well. I do have a Discord chat link in the description box if any of you would like to chat with me. Till next time, kill the state, live free.